Well, we're back in northern Wisconsin. Specifically, we're near St. Germain, Wisconsin, here, northern Wisconsin. You know, we came up here last year, fished with Rob Manthei. We filmed a muskie episode and just love the area and love muskie fishing. I mean, I don't ever get to fish for muskies, and it's one of my favorite things to do. There's probably no better people to fish for muskies with than people we're joined with today. Here, we're back here with Rob and Pete Maina, back in St. Germain. And this has just been a trip I've been looking forward to all year. Just a beautiful part of the world. Lots of fishing lakes, not just muskies, but walleyes, smallmouths, panfish, you name it. A lot of different opportunities up here. And just a lot of cool muskie history up here. If you love to fish for muskies, this is just a special part of the world.
Whoa! In the clouds.
Hey, nice work, nice work.
All right, man. That was cool.
Now we're getting out here, hitting the morning moon window. We got a couple windows to hit this morning. This morning we're actually fishing the minor, and we got out here early. According to Pete, it was way too early, so we'll see if it pays off here. But again, during the full moon period, you also have a moon window during the middle of the day. We're going to probably need that help today because it looks like we're going to have some flat, sunny days, which isn't typically the best for fishing muskies, but you never know. As one person always said, you never know when Mr. Muskie will make your day. So let's hope he makes our day several times. All you can do is just keep casting and work in good areas and make them bite.
Little topwater this morning. If there's going to be a shot on topwater, I think early here while it's calm is probably the best chance. This type of topwater that I'm using, very slow moving, a lot of noise, should be good in these kind of conditions. Before the blazing sun gets too high.
You know, we came out here for the first time last year, and just such a cool area. You know, you're driving down these roads, it's almost like driving through a tunnel. There's so many trees, you know, compared to where I live. You know, it's just these big towering pine trees and just these beautiful small lakes surrounded by pine trees. It's just really a cool part of the world. You know, there's just so many different fishing opportunities. And the thing about this is that, you know, you get out in this water and, you know, you spend half a day on a lake, you go literally 5 minutes down the road or less and just hop on a whole new lake. And so you look at an overview, like a map of this area. I mean, just the number of lakes is astonishing. I mean, just so many different fishing opportunities. Big lakes, small lakes, medium-sized lakes. All you see is lakes. And so just a cool part of the world. You drive through these small towns in northern Wisconsin. It's like every small town's got a muskie statue or a muskie sign. I mean, it's just ground zero for muskie fishing. You know, we've said it before when we've been out here, but this is where muskie fishing started as far as the fishing industry. You know, a lot of the innovations, a lot of the lures, a lot of the tactics, you know, a lot of the, you know, some of the really first, you know, accomplished muskie anglers, you know, they came from this part of the world. You know, this is where, you know, the muskies were native, and this is where it started. And so I just love the history, you know, just being a fishing enthusiast, you know, somebody that loves freshwater fishing. You just look at the history, the nostalgia of this part of the world. It's just a cool place to be.
Well, we're starting out here this morning. We got 3 different baits going. We're starting off in some shallow weeds here. Pete's throwing a topwater. It's great conditions right now. This will be our lowest light of the day until obviously this evening. It's always good to lead with a bucktail. Jason's throwing a bucktail there. I like to usually have that bait going through the spot first. You know, it's a high percentage hooking lure. You know, a great one to create a strike in a figure 8 at boat side. and I'm in the back here. I'm throwing a big swim bait, a swimming dog, in a perch pattern. There's a lot of perch in here. You know, it's always a good idea to kind of match some of the forage baits that you have in the lake when you're fishing muskies. And you know, we'll mix it up. We're gonna fish some deep water, some open water, you know, some rocks, and you know, adjust your bait choice accordingly, you know, to the depth that you're fishing and the structures that you're fishing. But it's always good to mix it up. I'd rather have 3 people casting in a boat than just 1 or 2. It just gives you a lot more options and let the fish tell you what they want. And then that's, you know, the best thing you can do when it is fishing muskies is try to create a pattern and duplicate it on several like spots on the lake that you're fishing, and hope you can figure it out for the day. Well, I think we're like getting right close to the major here, guys, so it's time to probably keep the eyes peeled, and we're working out. We decided to move out into some open water here. Pete said that the bait fish looked pretty attractive, so I said, I agree, let's go try it. A lot of bait up high, it seemed like, Pete, right? I mean, a lot of stuff was on the graph, looked pretty high up in the column, and usually when you have these clear skies like this is usually where you're going to see the bait is up high. And on these deeper basins and these very clear waters, sometimes, and I've seen it many times in the full moon, you know, that actually you'd think it's a deterrent, but I've seen midday bites happen quite often, especially under conditions like this. So, you know, it's worth a shot. Every time you make a cast, you got a chance. So hopefully it happens.
Well, the thing is, this clear water during the day with the high sun, I actually believe you've got a better shot at open water fish than structure fish dealing with these situations too. So I always have a lot more confidence, frankly. It might seem exactly the opposite to a lot of people, but on a bright sunny day like this, to me, the odds are a lot better in open water if you've got the bait fish and you figure the predators are out there as well. Ooh, there we go, Rob.
Oh. Yeah, I saw that. Of course, I just had to make a cast. I don't know, something she did not like.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
It wasn't really moving slow, but it wasn't moving real fast. I mean, it had that look.
Yeah, that almost look.
Yeah, well, we never see that before, but. Yeah, she swam off, and of course I just had to. Oh, geez, I got her. Yeah.
Nice, buddy.
Nice fish.
There we go.
All right, buddy.
And it's even before the moon window. That's crazy. You had that fish follow in, Pete, and then I threw back at it, and I think I got it.
I think you do have something.
Well, I know it is, and it feels pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see here.
Clear water fish.
Oh yeah, that's a nice musky.
That's a beauty.
All right. Boy, do you think he headhunted that bait?
I think he might have ate that.
Oh yeah, nice fish. That is a nice fish. Wow, guys.
That is cool. Very nice.
Oh, hey,
where it's supposed to be.
There we go. There we go. All right. There's a mess in the net, but that's all right. We'll just quick hold up here. Well, Jason, let's see what she looks like.
Oh yeah. Very nice. Beautiful.
All right. Well, let's get back, see if we got our window going.
Nice
There
fish.
she goes. Well, you know,
Bloody knuckles.
sometimes when muskies, they got to get even, you know.
War wounds, huh?
Yeah, that's okay though. We'll do that any day.
Yeah, well,
I got 9 more fingers. Let's have at her.
I'll get mine scratched for that.
Fingers are cheap. Got plenty of them.
Great fish.
Yeah, so, you know, we're just talking about the moon and stuff this morning. You know, we started off with our lovely east wind, and the light and variableness now kicked to the south. And, you know, we're coming into the midday moon, you know, and actually had a fish bite before it. So we might be in for something pretty good here. So as you can see here, I have all kinds of stuff laid out in front of me. And, you know, one thing as a musky guide, you're always trying to, you know, make a better mouse trap. Bucktails are very easy to make yourself. I like to mix and match blades, colors, sizes, and so on. And like I always say, you know, a new bucktail is just one wire snip away. And especially if you're on all of a sudden a certain bite, a certain color pattern, it takes, you know, it doesn't take that long to duplicate when you can actually do some of the stuff in the boat if you actually have things tied up. But typically what I like to do, I mean, there's a lot of great bucktail manufacturers out there. And one of them, Brad Hoppy, a good friend of mine, will actually give me the components so I can mix and match my own, you know, so to speak, cowgirls, just the way I want them. I mean, sometimes I want them weighted a little bit more, so I use a little bit bigger egg sinker versus the standard size that typically comes on the bait. One little modification that I like to do is I like to mix up both tinsel and marabou. A couple different reasons. Most bucktails are made with 2 skirts, and those skirts flare up, you get a vortex in the blade, and you know, over time they'll wear out or they'll get kind of clipped off from the blades. One thing that when you do have marabou stuck on top, it gives it a different look. The marabou will actually kind of inhibit a lot of the vortexing of the marabou from getting, or the tinsel from getting sucked up, but yet you have a little bit more undulating action from that marabou. And when it's all said and done, you'll actually get a bait like this where you'll actually see where you have layers, you know. This one, after been thrown a few times, you get some layers of tinsel coming out of the marabou. It just gives it a lot different look, you know, and if it looks good to me, I think it looks good to the fish. But it's really not that hard to do. You know, you basically have a wire, and you can get these wires already pre-twisted on one end, or they're just standard wires, and you can, you know, I have a bucktail twister that you can do that. I'll slide on the weight, and then come back with the skirt, which I'm putting on the tinsel first, and get that all kind of even around everything. Generally, we'll take a little bit of a spacer between that and the marabou. I mean, you can use a bucktail spacer, or sometimes I just use a little bit larger bead. Just makes something else to make some noise. Slide on the marabou and kind of just even everything out. And it's very important that when you're putting this bait together, that whatever weight you put at the end of the bait matches the weight that you have up in front. Because if you have too much on one end or the other, it's not going to run true. And you don't want a bucktail to run with the tail down through the water. You want to have it on your retrieve being as horizontal in the water as you can. Another thing that is important in my thoughts is when you do end up coming to your finished product and you put on your clevises and your blades of choice, is that when it's all put together, that I want those blades to be just touching whatever skirt material's up on top. You know, as you can see, when it's just hanging there, it's just touching the very tops of that marabou. You know, I don't want it to be, you know, say way up like this, because then you're just not going to get the look, you're not going to get the fullness of the bait when you're on retrieve. And if it's down too far, you're going to get some of it sucked up in there, and it's going to stall the blades, and you're going to have casts where the blades aren't spinning all the time. When it comes to putting the hook on, these little killer tails that Chaos Tackle makes are really awesome. I love putting these on my bucktails. They have already a preformed hole through the center, and you can slide it right over the treble, and it sits perfect on there. Doesn't inhibit any of the gapping of the treble, and that tail is always turning right directly behind the bait. One thing that I'll like to do is once I attach it, I'm going to slide down some shrink tube, and I want to shrink tube my hook to the shaft of the bucktail. It helps keep everything in line. You know, you're not getting the hook swiveling around, and I just think it just gives the whole bait a better look in the water and just a more true and tracking straight on your retrieve. You know, those are real simple things that you need to do. I mean, you need a split ring pliers, something to cut some wire, and then obviously your wire former to twist the baits, and just a handy blowtorch to melt your tubing, and you got a new bait. Well, moon phases, you know, have a lot to do with tides, you know, and that all came from the oceans. And when you talk to people that fish the musky waters, say out in the St. Lawrence and Ottawa River, that's actually closer to the Atlantic, it really intensifies what goes on with muskies feeding. You know, we don't obviously have tides, but you will notice, it is amazing, if you really sat and looked and watched at, say, a moonrise or a moonset, or a moon underfoot or a moon overhead. You know, if you were out on the water and it was a very calm day, and I'm talking like 0 to 5 miles an hour, and you're getting close to that time frame that there's going to be something moon happening, which is typically considered the peak of a minor or major, it's amazing how all of a sudden you'll have a 7 to 10 mile an hour wind for 20, 30 minutes. So there's something that the lunar effect of the moon is causing, whether it's the wind currents or something, or you might all of a sudden see a little patch of clouds show up, but it does something. And that's just a change. You know, maybe if you really micromanaged it and looked back down at what your barometer was doing, you might see the biggest swing that day where the barometer rose or fall, you know, during that time period. And, you know, when it's all culminated together, it usually induces some type of feeding window. Well, we still got plenty of time in the major here, fellas, so, you know, we're getting a little bit of some of that variable wind, which is making it nicer to be out here. You know, we're kind of seeing some south wind, which is much better than the east wind. We still got a lot of bait up high, and we got some time. So I feel pretty good about getting this done. I like the way these baits are looking, and hopefully we will put another fish into the net here, maybe 2 if we're lucky. But Jason didn't want to get greedy, though. I think we should always shoot high.
Well, I'm okay at aiming high. I was just worried about the musky karma. I figured just go focus on one at a time.
Keep the expectations at reasonable levels.
Yeah,
right?
just one at a time.
You know, one thing it wouldn't probably hurt too, Pete, since we are seeing on side a bunch of bait on either sides, you know, maybe you or Jason, one of you guys throw on the other side there. Would be a good idea. Then we can at least cover a lot of water as we're kind of going down the gut here. Oh yeah, nice.
Not a monster, but boy,
It's
he's looking
okay.
pretty good, ain't he? Boy, is that beautiful and clear water.
Yeah.
Look at
Oh,
that
yeah.
fish.
Did he get flipper or did he get, which one did he get?
Flipper.
Nice.
Been waiting for one to whack flipper. He just
Oh,
There in the clam.
hey, nice
Right in
work,
there he
nice work.
belongs. Boy, easy, fishy, easy. Don't hurt yourself in there.
Nice work, bud.
All right, man. That was cool. I'll
Yeah,
tell you what, they're coming tough in this high sky
what?
stuff, but
they
It's
add
in the
up,
major.
They add up.
yeah, basically no follows, but once in a while one bites,
Yeah.
and they end up in the clam.
Nothing wrong with that.
He was not coming off, Pete,
No, I saw that. I wasn't at all worried.
but he will be right now.
Thought for sure he had gotten off.
He's got some nice markings.
That was fun. That was fun. Thanks, fishy. There, we got him. He's a feisty. Pretty.
Nice.
Very cool. He looks like he's ready. Off I go.
Nice work.
Beautiful.
Musky.
Hugs not allowed. No.
Pete's not into human contact.
No, not with men. Not with men. No. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, geez, dude, I got her. I got her.
Oh, yeah. Nice fish. Wow, guys.